All right. What is going on, everybody? My name is Caden here. Today, we're going to be talking about what really drives you to change. So how you can gain unlimited motivation to accomplish the goals you want to accomplish. So specifically, we're going to be talking about weight loss today. So for those who don't know, my name is Caden here, the CEO and founder of Coach Hayward. We specialize in helping 140 plus permanently lose weight and make it a lifestyle, not a diet. And today I'm going to teach you why, do you ever like look at some people and it's like, how is this person just motivated every single week? How are they on top of their goals? How are they crushing it? How are they always posting this positive stuff? How do they just show up all the time and crush it, crush it, crush it? When I'm sitting here struggling to get even to the gym, when I'm struggling to even show up to the gym or show up for myself or eat that healthy meal or to break my patterns when I know I'm struggling with it. Do you ever feel that way? Do you ever feel that way where it's like, why can I not stay motivated? I want to change. I want to lose weight. I want to feel better. I want more energy, but I can't stick with it. No matter what I try, no matter what I do, I always fall off track. Well, today, guys, that's exactly what we're going to break down. We're going to break down the two types of motivation there is. We're going to break down the 4 behavioral drivers behind it. We're going to talk about 3 things that influence your motivation. We're going to talk about the fight of willpower and how that affects your motivation. And we're going to end it off with the hormone in charge of your motivation, okay? So we're really going to unpack a lot here today, so make sure you grab your pen and paper, and let's dive into it. So first and foremost, y'all, what you should know is how you think about it influences your drive behind doing it. All right, which is very, very powerful, right? How we think about something is going to influence how we actually do it, how we tackle the problem or the situation. So very, very interesting, I guess. And that's kind of how I want to start off our training with that quote there today. So how you think about it influences your drive behind. So let's dive in here. So there's 2 types of motivation here, guys, okay? So there's intrinsic and there's extrinsic. So I could be saying that's wrong. Basically, intrinsic is like your self-motivator. All right. What motivates you is the act of doing it. It's the excitement. It's the learning mindset. It's like, I can't wait to figure this out, or it makes me feel good when I'm working towards this goal. Okay. So that's your self-motivation, right? You don't need a reward or a consequence to drive you. It's just the act of doing that drives you. And this is why people who do careers in things that they love and that they're skilled at succeed the most, because they're self-motivated by it, right? They have the passion behind doing it. The next one here is an extrinsic. So this is when you either are going to get a reward for doing what you want to do or to avoid a consequence. So a lot of people, I find personally, a lot of people are extrinsic when it comes to their weight loss. Sometimes they have that hard time being self-motivated, which I find maybe honestly it could switch though over time. Once you get into the rhythm and you get that lifestyle going, the habits and stuff, it's kind of self-motivating because it just feels good. You like doing it. It's just a part of your life at that point. But at least at first, I definitely find, I don't even know if this switches over, but this is just what I've noticed. At first, it's definitely extrinsic, but you got to find what motivates you, because it's going to play a huge role in keeping you on track with your weight loss, right? So when it comes to external, it's more so when you get a reward for doing it. Okay, so like, I'm going to lose this 30 pounds, and in exchange, I'm going to buy myself this car, or I'm going to do something for myself, go on this trip, wherever it may be. Or to avoid a consequence, which is like the doctor's like, hey, you are going to be on blood pressure, or you're going to become a diabetic in the next month or 2 if you do not change your ways. And that is consequence driver, right? And that's like, oh, shoot. Now, I watched this video this morning, and this wasn't necessarily science-based, but this is by a very, very top professional. And they said how some people are driven to the feeling of they want to win, and then and the feeling of winning, and some people are driven by the fact that they don't want to lose. The anger they get from losing makes them so angry that they want to change, right? And that's almost a consequence versus the reward, right? So very interesting. But remember, this is kind of like our system, okay? And the system influences the levels of dopamine in our body, so the hormone that drives motivation, okay? So dopamine is basically the hormone inside of us that's going to drive our motivation. So this is very important. Remember this, okay? So what we want, okay? We want what is more rewarding than what is demanding, okay? That's how we are as people, is that if we're going to do something, it needs to be more rewarding than it is demanding. That's what we say. And that famous quote is like, when the pain of change is greater, or no, sorry, when the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change, that's when you'll change. So if you're like, hey, I want to change, but I just can't start, or I can't put myself across that finish line, or I just can't do it, right? I would suggest you to get very deep with yourself and get much more pain. Because obviously, if you're staying the same, you're not working on yourself right now to lose, like you might want it, but you don't want it bad enough. So you got to get a little more deeper with yourself. Like, okay, well, how is this weight actually affecting you? Is it affecting your relationship with your partner? Are you scared of getting a divorce? Do you have no energy with your kids? You can't give them that childhood that you want to give them. Is it to the point where you have zero self-confidence, zero self-esteem, and you're not wearing any outfits that you used to wear, and it's just ruining your day every day? Like, get real with it, right? Get deep with it. Like, those are the things that are uncomfortable, but it's going to drive you. It's going to push your booty to start putting in the work to change, right? If it's all about just like, I want to feel healthier and I want to get better, yeah, that has weight to it, but it's nothing basically, because it's like, what does that look like for you? What does that mean to you, right? We need to have meaning behind it. We have to have that strong why, or else any little inconvenience that pops up is going to cause us to quit, and it's going to cause a cycle over and over and over again. So we need to get real with ourselves. We need to get deep with ourselves. Why do you actually want to change? What's going to push you over the line to do it? Because then you're going to invest in yourself to do it. Then you're going to put the resources into it because you know it's worth it, right? And there's that driving factor behind it. So that is why it's so important, okay? Because it has to be more rewarding than demanding, right? So if you think like, I just want to get healthier, but then you think I got to eat this healthier meal, I got to kind of prep my food, I got to watch my calories, I got to work out a little bit, you're going to start thinking about all the things that are demanding that you got to do, and you're going to forget about the reward at the end. And that's where it's damaging. That's where we just stay the same and we just continue to slowly suffer. Like the frog, where you put them in a pot and you slowly turn up the heat. At first, if it was too hot, they would jump out of the pot. But if you slowly turn up the heat, they get comfortable and they slowly cook themselves to death. All right. We can't do that, guys. All right. If we want to change, we have to put our foot down today, because if not, things are going to keep going the way they're going. And if you don't like it, I mean, odds are you want to change if you're watching this video, right? So if you don't like it, we got to do these things, because if not, it's just the way our bodies work. It's just the way we are designed. We will keep things going. We will continue to suffer because the demand to change is not there yet. The push, the willingness, the why behind it. So get deep with that. Get real with that. Because I have people, and it's very sad, I have people almost every day. They will message me randomly out of the blue after I talked to them 4 months ago, 2 years ago, and they're like, oh, I just broke up. I just got in a divorce. This horrible thing happened to me. My father, my mother just passed away with this health issue. I just found out I have diabetes now. I'm ready to change, coach. And it's like, come on, we could have did this 6 months ago and you didn't have to go through this, but now you have to deal with this. So it's like, I get it, guys. And I was the same way. But we need to face this. We need to face this, and we need to have that strong why, because that's what's going to push us to change. I promise you. So that's going to be one of the most important things you got to remember today. So anyways, that's the 2 types of motivation. So let's talk about things that influence your motivation here. So things that influence your motivation is your mental state, your environment, your past experiences, okay? What that means is, first and foremost, let's say, over time, if you've been a lifetime dieter, and this is why I love helping Well and Footy Plus, because we're the best at doing the stuff with the mind. This is like, we get it, right? We've dealt with this so many times, so I know what it's like. So past experiences, let's say if you've been a dieter your whole life, right? You've had multiple attempts to lose weight and all of them failed. So it's very frustrating on the mind. It's very frustrating when we go towards something, we work, and we just lose. It's going to cause self-doubt. It's going to cause belief systems like, I am fat. This is just the way I am. I've always been overweight. What is this program going to do differently for me? Okay, what is this plan going to do differently for me? Why should I work out when I just never lose weight? Right? These are mindsets that don't serve us, but it's because of our past experiences. Okay. The next thing is our environment, the people around us, the food around us. All these things are going to drive your motivation. Like, who you hang around with. Are you hanging around with people who are driven, who want to change? Do you have a coach who's going to push you to change? Or are you alone? Are you lonely? Are you around people who are just slobby and they want to bring you down? That's going to drive your motivation. And the next one is your mental state. Okay. Your mental health, how you feel about yourself. Who do you think you are? And just overall, if you have depression, anything like that, that can affect your mental state as well, or your motivation. Okay. So the next thing here is, let's talk about 4 behavioral drivers behind this good stuff. So the things that drive you to want to change and work towards things is, there's 4 main things. Okay. This is why you got to know yourself. Number one is to learn new things, right? So maybe you're just self-motivated because you want to learn new things. Let's say at work, you like working on projects because you just want to figure out the problem, right? You're a problem solver naturally. Number two is you want to protect. So let's say you're a mom, a single mom, and you have 3 kids, and you're really struggling with your weight, and you're scared that if you don't get your health under control, you might lose your job, and then you can't pay for your kids to grow up. So that's that protective thing that's going to drive you to change, right? So then you got to dive into that, let that motivate you so you can be that strong, fit, healthy mom and protect your kids. Or if you're a dad, if you're watching this as well, that is a big factor as well, right? If you want to be that leader, whatever it may be. Now, the next one is protection. Is bonding. So this is a bonding thing. So this is like, if you want to fit in, if you want to have connection. So maybe your why behind losing weight is you want a relationship. Maybe you're lonely. Maybe you want to feel better, look better, and have more confidence for somebody. Maybe you want to fit in with a friend group who is all super fit. Okay, let that drive you. That's really good. Now, the next one here is gain. So to gain something, if you want to gain a promotion at work, then you'll put in the work to grow and get that promotion, right? So that's like things that are going to help you gain in life. Those are 4 behavioral drivers that help influence you to want to change and motivate you. Now, the next thing here, let's talk about. So far what we've gotten is we're talking about the types of motivation, right? What influences us as people, how it affects us. We touched a little bit on dopamine, the hormone behind the drivers. Then we talked about the 3 things that influence your motivation, right? So what impacts your motivation? And then we talked about 4 behavioral drivers that can help push us to change, all right? Now let's talk about the fight of willpower. So we have a mental battery just like a physical battery. If you're always making multiple decisions throughout the day, you're going to have that decision fatigue. And at the end of the day, you're not going to want to make any decisions and your willpower is going to be completely gone. This is why if you're a nighttime snacker, I would suggest that maybe you're just overwhelmed throughout the day. You're making too many decisions and you have too much on your plate. So at the end of the day, you have no willpower to fight off the temptations, the snacks and all that. And this is why your environment plays a role, right? Because we shouldn't have that in our households if that's our battle, because it's going to be so easy to give into. Okay. So this is why I always say too, maybe fill that out with a hobby or something else. That way you can keep busy. So that way you're not having that boredom, that mind battle, because your willpower is going to be very low at the end of the day. So how do we fight the willpower battle? Well, number one, get crap off your plate. If it's not important, if it's not needed, then cut it out. Don't add it to your schedule because you might not think it's important, but have you ever had those nights where you're going to a very special event, you're trying to pick out an outfit and it just takes forever, and by the end of it, you're just exhausted, you're stressed out, and you're just like, oh my gosh, that took forever, right? You're just like, exhausted mentally, your willpower, because you're trying to decide and try and make up all these choices of what to wear, right? It's very exhausting. Now, the next one to help with your willpower and you're in that is your routine. Make things robotic, so that way it's not always a guessing game and you're not trying to always figure out what to do next, right? Make it very step by step. This is what I do here, this is what I do there, and this is what my routine looks like. That way it's very robotic, you can just easily follow along. The next one too is get the hard stuff done first, right? So if you really struggle with working out and getting working out done, get it done in the morning, get it done first thing, get it right out of the way. If you really have a hard time prepping your meals, wake up early on Sunday, go get it done. Go to the grocery store when the kids are asleep, get up early and get that prep out of the way with. That is going to make you feel so good about yourself, and that's going to help you win that day because you're already taking the right actions, right? We hold it off for the rest of until the end of the day, we're not going to want to do it. It's very hard to get it done. So that is the fight of willpower. Now let's talk about things to boost our dopamine, all right? And things to cut out to help with our dopamine so that way we want to do more, right? Because okay, call me crazy, but this is what I'm observing nowadays in our society is that we have so many things, like we live in a world now where it's like whatever we want, whatever we want, we get overnight. Do you want the surgery to lose weight? You can get it overnight, right? There's a lot of easy ways out of this. There's a lot of easy things that we can do. Surgery, instant results. Do you want this? Do you want to modify something on your body? Instant results. Do you want to order something off Amazon? Instantly get it. So we instantly get things now, and that kills that delayed gratification skill that we need to work on, where it's like, if we're working on a project, if a writer's writing a book, they're not going to get that instant reward overnight. So they have to be self-motivating. They have to set steps in place to motivate them to reward themselves to keep going so they finish the project. So that way that delayed gratification can be built. This is needed with the gym when it comes to working out and fitness, because like the saying goes, you won't get fit overnight, you won't get fit in a week, you won't build abs in a month, but if you do keep going consistently, if you keep taking the right steps, you will get there. And this is like what I also, to all of you watching and all of my clients watching, if you're dealing with emotional eating and stress eating, and you want to work on defeating that, right? Well, understand, like, it's not going to happen overnight. It won't happen in a week, because it's probably something you battle with for quite some time. So it's ingrained in you. But if you keep practicing it, if you keep trusting the process, if you keep working on breaking the pattern, it's just naturally how you are. You will change it. And one day you're going to wake up and it won't be a battle and you will feel so good. So on this path, instead of stressing yourself out about the weight loss, focus on that pattern there that you're focused on, and then reward yourself to taking the right steps, the right actions. Okay, I didn't binge eat today. Awesome. I didn't binge eat this whole week, so I'm going to buy myself this. I'm going to reward myself to this, whatever it may be, right? So little things like that for an example. So do those things there. Now, how to boost your dopamine levels though. So anyways, number one, record your wins, right? We want to stack our wins. It's so important to focus on your wins rather than your losses, because that's going to motivate you to keep going. So whenever you get a win, try to write it down somewhere. Keep a list of all the wins you've made so you can rely on those. That's going to help with your trust and your confidence in yourself too. The next one here is cut dopamine killers. Excessive drug use, anything that's going to just excrete all your dopamine is going to be a killer. So if you have a long weekend, let's say you're out with the ladies and you drink a bunch of wine, the next few days you're going to feel a little cloudy, you're not going to be as driven, because it's going to kill your dopamine. Okay, so a lot of drugs, alcohol, stuff like that, distractions, gambling, any things like that that can take away your dopamine. Try not to do things like that, like too much. You don't want to overuse it. So that's number one. Record your wins, share your wins, work with other people, right? Accountability, stuff like that. Move your body. Your body loves dopamine, or no, sorry. The more you move your body, like 150 minutes a week or so like that, a good amount of exercise per week is actually going to help increase your dopamine levels. All right, which is amazing, right? They work hand in hand. The next thing is prioritizing yourself. Okay, making yourself the top priority, making you important, respecting yourself. And then the next thing is music and podcasts, things that are going to give you that boost, that motivation. Goal setting. Big and small goals that you can set there so you can consistently work at, having that vision. The next thing is be a self-motivator. Talk to yourself nicely, pump yourself up, talk to yourself why it's so important, and the easiest way is understand that this is everything. Your weight loss, your health is everything today, right? If you don't have your health and your weight and your health, if your health is not there, it doesn't matter about your job, it doesn't matter about your kids or anything, because you're not there, right? If your health is not there. So your health has to come first. So make it that top priority, make it everything. The next thing here is a couple supplements that you can use. Magnesium and tyrosine help with dopamine. Okay, these are actually proven to help with your dopamine receptors and your levels. So ultimately, you can get that through food or supplements, but those are two supplements for you. And last one is sleeping better. Okay, if you sleep good, you're going to want to do more. Plain and simple, right? If you sleep good, you're going to want to do more. That's for sure. So that is kind of how our motivation works, how it affects us, and how we can use to our advantage, though. Like different behavioral traits and different ways that we get motivated. It's important that we know ourselves, right? So what I recommend you do at this point is to sit down and think for a minute, like, what drives me? What really motivates me? What type of person am I? And then build your plan based off that. Okay, in week 2, I'll reward myself to this. In week 3, I'm going to do this. In week 6, when I lose my 10 pounds, I'm going to reward myself to this. And then remember, okay, the consequences if I don't change, and remember that and have that strong why. Get very, very serious about your changes, and then get your routine, everything built out. If you take action on this, I promise you it's going to help you tremendously with your weight loss. All right. So everybody, that's the training for today. So as always, if this helped you out, if you like this training, make sure, all I ask is that you leave a like below and you subscribe as well, so more people can get access to this training to help them on their weight loss journeys. Now, if you feel you need help, if you need someone who's going to put all this together for you, if you're not a self-motivator and you need that push and to remind you and help with those rewards, then you can apply with me to work with me. I would love to help you out. There's a link below in the description where you can fill out the quick form, and then I will text you later on to confirm, and we can see how I can help you out there. But that is the training for today, y'all. I hope you enjoy this. Have a fantastic week. Keep moving forward. Remember why you're doing this, and you got this. Never give up, and you will get there. I'll see you guys later.